Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's Ian from Peniglen Cabin Life. Off grid, remember, off grid. And it's season 4 of Wednesday Thoughts Down at the Cabin. Now today's topic is going to be a bit of a strange title really, but it's where you are and what you do. Right? Simple as that. Everybody in life has 2 minutes of fame, they say that. Right? And whatever you are and what you do is important in life. Now everything that happens, I've got an itchy nose again, I apologise for that. Whatever happens to you in life, whatever you're doing and whatever journey you're going down, it's important. Nobody is more important than anybody else. I believe that. We're all equal, we all come into the world with nothing and we all leave this world with nothing. Apart from my dad, because he thinks he can take his money with him when he dies. It's true, he does that. So he's always saying that, I'm taking my money with me when I go. So knowing my dad, he'll have a leg coffin and be entombed or something like that, stacked up with his money about this side of him. So I'm only kidding, Dad, if you're watching, I'm only kidding. So for me personally, what's important to me is being a YouTuber and talking about what I think and what I believe. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's very easy on social media to get subscribers and lose subscribers. As quick as that, you can be ruined before you know it. But I think it's important to have a clear message, and I think it's also important to tell the truth. Right? Now, there's lots of things happening in the world now that's frightening, like the coronavirus, the riots. There's loads of stuff going off all around the world, famines and everything. And it's very easy to say, like they always say with the government, whatever decision the government makes, no matter what it is, the one thing that they always say is they didn't go far enough. They could have gone a lot further, they could have done so much more. But if they hadn't done anything, then we'll be 10 steps behind, won't we? So, but people forget that no matter what it is in life, whatever happens, whatever policies are brought in, it costs money. Now you might say, oh no, it's not. It is, no matter what it is. It's like, you think about it, right? This sounds really random, but in Scotland, they're on about reclassifying everyone's houses for council tax. Because they're saying people aren't paying fair amount of council tax, right? What they're actually saying is they're going to rebrand everybody's zone that they're all in. It goes like A, B, C, D and all stuff like that. So they're going to change everybody. They're either going to move everybody up, or each level is going to be more expensive. Because every time they do something that they say will be better for everybody else, 99.9% of the time, it means that they make more money, right? I'll give you for instance, right? With the pandemic, when the first phase of the pandemic was done, well, not done, but you know what I mean, when it started to ease off before the second wave came, I was outside, I was on the front getting rid of a load of rubbish. And true story, this council van pulled up and he said, hey lad, he said, I know you live in the middle of nowhere and we've just kind of realised, so we're going round all these rural houses now and we're making sure that everybody's okay. I said, just a minute, let me just get this right, if you don't mind. I live in the middle of nowhere, I can't drive because I've got epilepsy, I don't get a taxi because everyone's got coronavirus in Stranraer. Well, not everybody, but it were massive for coronavirus in Stranraer. So I don't get a taxi because everybody's in and out of a taxi, which means there's bound to be somebody that's been affected that's been in a taxi. I can't get no deliveries of food. And now we're getting to near the end, which was the first phase then. You're actually coming to me door and everybody's door around here and saying, we're with the council and we're here to help. How's about that? I said, what you're not saying is the government has given you a load of money to come and check on us all. But you've used that money on other things. So now at the end of it, well, you wouldn't have to fork out the money. You've come to us and said, oh, is that what we can do? Is that what we can do? Eh? They're unreal, aren't they? It is totally unbelievable what the councils are like. But it's just like that in general. But like everybody has a voice. Do you know what I mean? It's like people say to me, like, who would you vote in the next elections? Well, I've always said you should never vote, right? And people always say, hang on a minute, people died so you could vote. You're right, they did. But if you vote, what you're actually doing is encouraging them. It's shite. It's shite. You're encouraging the MPs by voting for them. And it's them that make massive wages while everybody else is struggling. Them wages that MPs get are massive wages, and if they get selected to run in the cabinet, then they're guaranteed a massive wage, massive pension at the end of it because they've been in the cabinet. Even if they're only in a few weeks, they get a massive wage at the end of it. It's crazy. And yet there's normal people that's going in jobs, they're working hard, and they're finding that they can't support their own families. And yet the MPs are there raking it in. So why should we vote them in? You're telling me an MP is going to stand up in Parliament and say, right lads, I've had a letter off a young man called Ian from Scotland, and he's asked me to read it out, and it says, to all MPs in Parliament, would you consider taking a 50% pay cut? But bear in mind, they get massive wages, a 50% pay cut, so they're in line with the realistic, well, UK really, realistic wages. They won't do that. You're telling me they're going to vote that? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I like that idea, Ian. Yeah, you've got me in, you've convinced me. Are they bloody hellers like? They're not in the slightest, are they? But it's everything in general. It's a corrupt world and it's wrong. It is so bleeding wrong. There's nothing we'll ever do about it. Nothing will ever change. You know? And like, I tell you what I feel for that really upset. This is what does get to me and upset me, right? I'm being honest now. I don't have a telly. I choose not to have a telly. I don't have a telly, but I have YouTube and I watch it on my pad. That's all I do. I watch YouTube. And you see, on YouTube, they have a section, which you'll all know because you're watching me on YouTube, so you know how it works. You have like a news feed, but you also have like the news channels news feeds. And it shows some of these camps all around the world, refugee camps. God, it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. You see the kids there in massive poverty. Hey, you think we've got bad poverty in our country and other countries around the world? It's nothing compared to that. I saw it a few months ago where there was that big fire and they lost everything and they had nothing. They had nothing but lost everything. That's even worse, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's awful. It honestly, I know you might think I'm making it up, but it was heartbreaking. And they're queuing up and they're just getting a scoopful of rice and stuff like that. Where we're going wrong? We're going wrong as a country. When MPs can get these massive wages, implement policies that are bad for this country, and yet they're getting a scoop of rice. And they're getting like 2 or 3 houses. These MPs have got all around the country and one a house in London and all this. Nah, not for me. Not for me. I'll stick in my cabin and I'll rant. I'll rant. But no, we've lost touch. We have lost touch with the real world. Now look, there's been times in my life when I've had nothing, right? And I'll be honest, and I've said this before, I'm bad enough to say it. I've been in rehab, as you know, because I had a nervous breakdown. And when I was in rehab, the rehab centre were getting like £500–600 a week from the government to look after us. It's a true story, this, right? And all them rehab centres gave us, in our pocket for us to have, were 10 quid. That's all we got a week. And I had to buy my own food out of that. And that is not a lie. So by the time I'd done my shopping, I'd be living off beans and toast and nothing. But bear in mind, I've just said about this with the rice. So I'm putting it in perspective that I think I've had it bad and it's nothing compared to what they've had. They've had, and having, not just had, having. and there was nothing at the end of it. And yet all these rehab centres, the owners would pull up in the big BMWs, you know, walk in the office like they're a god and sit the sends down and speaking to managers. Nah, it's not right. It's not right. All right, they might have worked hard to get to where they are, but nah, it's not for me. Not for me. I'd rather live in my cabin, stay well, and I know if I do that, I'll never go back to that again. And if I can do that, I'm the happiest man alive, I really am. And I want to send positive vibes to everybody, because that's what it should be, shouldn't it? Right, that's enough of me ranting on. I'll see you again next week on the Wednesday back at the cabin. Dinky-doo.